Chapter 24. Every Monday was sharing day in Miss Hunter's classroom. Sharing didn't mean sharing at all. It meant telling about what you did over the weekend or holding up some great thing you brought from home and not passing it around because you didn't want it to get ruined. "Who has something to share?" Miss Hunter would begin. And at first no one would go up, but finally Edwin or somebody would have something. "Here's a stamp," he would say. "I got it at this stamp show." "Louder," Miss Hunter would interrupt. "Here's a stamp. I got it at the stamp show I went to with my father. It's from Morocco, and it has this camel or something on it. I'm not sure. Its hump is sort of pointy for a camel. And we saw this really rare stamp that's worth about $1 million because it was printed upside down." Then Howard would show a real arrowhead, a cobra skin, a tiny fish kite from Japan. "Where did they get all these things?" "Barbara, have you something to share?" Yes, Barbara had spent the whole weekend with her cousins who were visiting from Canada, and they had gone ice skating in the city. Alyssa had seen a horror movie, and she told its whole plot. Maggie would coil a wet strand of hair around her finger and let it spring loose. Nothing again? Carolyn? But today Maggie had something to share. Maggie? Nothing again? No, yes, I have something to share. She looked around at the faces in the room. What would she tell them? That she had found 2 old dolls who talked and moved around like real people and set up housekeeping behind a wardrobe in the attic where they served wooden bread at a tea table and watched wallpaper roses with an empty kettle and watered wallpaper roses with an empty kettle. She returned her eyes to her desk and began tracing with her pen the grooves of the letter R that someone had carved there long ago. Maggie, we don't write on our desks. Did you have something to share today? Yes. Glances crisscrossed the room like searchlights in the sky, targeting her body. What did she have to share? I visited these people I know, she began. They live in this place that has a garden outside. Her voice sounded like some distant echo. And they have a dog. She paused a long while, so long that Miss Hunter thought she was finished, and called on someone else. Sharon, did you have your hand up? But Maggie suddenly plunged ahead. They have all these beautiful things. They have a whole tea set painted with pansies and daisies, and I get to pour the tea and pass around the bread and butter. And there's a tea cozy, which is this thing that looks like a ski hat that you put on the teapot, and it keeps the tea warm. After tea, we go outside with the dog and sit in the garden. There are millions of roses climbing all over the place, and it's my job to water them. We all sit together in front of the roses in wicker chairs, and the man reads the newspaper, and we talk about what he reads. After we feed the dog and feel the sun on our faces and smell the millions of roses, then we go back inside. And I did their laundry for them. First, some bloomers. That's these underpants, sort of, with ribbons at the knees. From somewhere behind her came a small sound, a laugh, contained in someone's throat. And then another, also small. I washed them in the wash tub and hung them on the line out in the rose garden. And then I ironed them on the tea table with this iron you have to heat on the stove. And then I folded them in a neat stack on the table the way they showed me. When I was through, the lady put the handkerchief in her sleeve. It was a good thing I came. They all needed me there. I'm their caretaker, sort of. She was finished. There was silence in the room, and although she no longer spoke, she felt her voice lingering in the air. She opened her desk lid and rearranged the papers inside. Miss Hunter took a breath. Roses in January, Maggie. And finally, everybody could laugh.